Good evening, Bahamas. You're tuned in to NB12, broadcasting from Cable 12 studios on Robinson Road. Coming up tonight in news, the Bahamas readying for Sandy's impact, which is expected to be felt as early as tomorrow morning. Nema is activated as we get the latest details on Sandy's trek toward the island chain. BTC managers threaten industrial action after their union vice president is fired, plus the newest PLP member of parliament sworn into the House of Assembly today. We've got those stories and so much more coming up. I'm Paige McCartney, and MB12 starts right now. Welcome once again to MB12. Well, Sandy is now emerging off the coast of Jamaica. A hurricane warning is now in effect for the northwest and central Bahamas. This includes Grand Bahama, Bimini, Abaco, the Berry Islands, Andros, Eleuthera, New Providence, and Exuma, Cat Island, Rum Keys, and Salvador, and Long Island. Hurricane warnings mean that hurricane conditions are expected somewhere within the warning area within the next 36 hours. Tropical storm watch remains in effect for the southeast Bahamas, which includes Acklins, Crooked Island, Long Key, Ragged Island, Mayaguana, and Inagua. A tropical storm watch means that tropical storm conditions are expected within the watch area in the next 48 hours. And at 5 p.m., the center of Hurricane Sandy was located near latitude 18.3 degrees north and longitude 76.6 degrees west, or about 25 miles north-northeast of Kingston, Jamaica, or about 275 miles south-southwest of Ragged Island. Hurricane Sandy is now moving toward the north near 14 miles per hour. This general motion is expected to continue through Thursday night with an increase in forward speed expected overnight and Thursday. A turn toward the north-northwest and a decrease in forward speed are expected on Friday. This afternoon, Sandy made its way over Jamaica. Meteorologist Trevor Basin explains how forecasters expect Sandy to develop.
As Sandy impacts Jamaica, we do expect it to weaken slightly to below hurricane strength, meaning to below 74 miles per hour. And then it is expected to cross Cuba early Thursday morning, the eastern part of Cuba, and further weakening is expected.
Basin says on the forecast track, the center of Sandy will approach the central Bahamas early Thursday morning, with Long Island and Exuma feeling tropical storm conditions by 6 a.m. and around 1 p.m. in New Providence.
If this is not realized, then we can be expecting, or we should expect, hurricane force winds in the central and northwest Bahamas Thursday.
Well, today the National Emergency Management Agency held a press conference to update the nation on when preparations are taking place for Sandy. Christina McNeil was there, and she has this report.
The National Emergency Management Agency fully activated this afternoon as the Bahamas braces for Hurricane Sandy. Sandy was upgraded to hurricane status at 11 a.m. today. 1 hour later, Nema head Captain Stephen Russell activated Nema and all operation centers throughout the Bahamas. Briefing members of the media this afternoon, Russell explained that all Family Island administrators have been briefed and should be prepared for whatever comes their way.
We have by now given notices to all Family Island district administrators who are at this time on sessions or have already completed meetings with their local disaster consultative committees. We also advise our community members to pay attention and to take guidance from the local disaster committees. The general public are to ensure that their preparations are coming to a final conclusion this time, as the storm should be upon us over the next 24 hours.
Nema officials are encouraging residents to find out where their nearest shelter is in the event of an emergency. All shelters throughout the Bahamas should be activated by 7 a.m. Thursday morning. Social Services Director Melanie Zonical explains what residents need to bring with them if they plan to ride out the storm in a shelter.
These persons who feel that their houses are compromised, if they plan to stay in a shelter, they should bring water, blankets, medicine, snacks, and no pets will be allowed. The shelters will be manned along by the workers from the Department of Social Services, along with the members of the Royal Bahamas Defense Force.
There are 24 shelters on New Providence and 131 throughout the remainder of the Bahama Islands. Meanwhile, contractors on New Providence are securing work sites in preparation for the storm. Director of Works John Canton says many of the contractors on the road project know what to expect after working through Hurricane Irene, and they are working to ensure that road works do not cause additional hazards or flooding during the storm.
So there should be provisions in place. And the contractor and our teams will be looking very closely at excavations, etc., to make sure that they would be safe should the road be subject to full inundation, when of course a hidden deep excavation can be very dangerous. So fortunately all our contractors currently in action were also in action during Irene, and they're fully aware of the procedures that need to be taken, and those procedures will be being followed as we speak. I think our major concern, as everybody here is aware, is that drainage is impeded by high tides, and that is a concern for us, and we'll be liaising closely with Met Office and Port Department to get a feel for whether we're going to experience the double impact, if you like, of very heavy storm runoff, which can be impeded by high tide.
In the House of Assembly this afternoon, the Prime Minister reached out to residents advising that all schools, public and private, are to remain closed on Thursday and Friday, as well as government offices with the exception of emergency personnel. Meanwhile, airports, seaports and bridges will be closed as of 7 a.m. Thursday due to the strength of the wind expected to be in excess of 40 miles per hour. The Prime Minister added that businesses, including banks, are being advised to remain closed on Thursday and Friday based on weather conditions. Reporting for NB12, I'm Christina McNeil.
Well, as we said, Jamaica is currently feeling the brunt of the storm right now. Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell says he's been in contact with Bahamian students in Kingston, Jamaica, making sure that they're safe as Hurricane Sandy passes over the island. Mitchell says that according to the president of the Students Association at the University of the West Indies, everyone is safe and there was no need for evacuation.
The campus in Mona still has power and water. There are some reports that students who live off the campus have no power. It appears the water is still on, but there's no power. But essentially everybody is safe. There's a lot of rain and wind. Everyone is hunkering down for the storm to pass. I've also sent out a message to the students at the University of the Northern Caribbean in Mandeville, which is in the center of the country, which is high up in the hills, to find out what the situation is there, and I'm awaiting a briefing on that.
Mitchell says if he had received information earlier this week that the students would be in any danger, the government would have flown them out of the country and into safety. And as you prepare yourself and your property for Sandy, the Department of Environmental Health Services is advising members of the public to properly secure any items that can be easily picked up and moved by the heavy winds during the storm. Residents are being told to keep in mind that the storm will affect garbage collection, but efforts are being made to complete scheduled routes. You can use the depository bins at the entrance of the Harold Road disposal site if you need to. And just a note here, Cable Bahamas offices will be closed tomorrow and Friday and will reopen on Saturday at normal business hours. But that doesn't affect Cable 12 News. Tune in at normal times and you can get updates on the latest news events and on Hurricane Sandy. And in other news tonight, the Bahamas Communications and Public Managers Union filing a trade dispute with the Bahamas Telecommunications Company regarding the firing of Elizabeth Thompson on Monday, which we'll tell you about in just a minute. But first, we want to show you what happened since the union announced that move today. The BCPMU and the BCPOU met with BTC executives at the company's JFK headquarters, demanding that Thompson be reinstated by 5 p.m. or else. So what's the or else? Well, BCPMU President Talbot Colley wouldn't say exactly, but we know that BTC didn't budge from its position. Managers and other employees seemed poised to stand in support of Thompson, but Colley said the unions are ready to take whatever action is necessary. He wouldn't say what that might be either, but BCPOU President Bernard Evans said BTC's recent moves prove what he's been saying about cable and wireless communications all along.
They don't care, and we quite frankly don't care nothing about them. And since they want to fight with the management union, we here in the BCPOU stand ready to fight along our brothers and sisters in the management union. As a matter of fact, I already told Mr. Colley, if he don't want to lead a little bit, he could follow our lead. But we will not stand by and let them get away with calling them and try it with us. You understand what I'm saying? And so I'm furious. I can't say on camera what I really want to say. We tried our best to broker with them that we didn't want to take this to another level. We came here to show them that they're wrong, that they had an opportunity to make a right by it, and they don't want to do it. You understand? But like I said before, I'm not surprised. But we're not going to back up from this. They want to fight. Pardon me, listen. We're going to stand until Ms. Thompson is reinstated, for however long it takes.
And as we mentioned earlier today at the press conference at the BCPOU Hall on Farrington Road, union executives announced that they filed an appeal for the CEO of BTC regarding Thompson's firing, and that they have also filed a trade dispute with the Industrial Tribunal. What that means now, according to BCPMU President Talbot Colley, is that BTC management has 10 days to respond, and the Industrial Tribunal has 45 days to hear the matter. The union executive said while they wait, the union now has legal authority to take any form of industrial action they see fit, short of taking a strike.
We intend to advance this matter to resolution. I would also wish to add that we are mindful of the law and what it affords and what it does not afford, but we are aggressively planning to explore and exploit every option within the legal purview of the union to resolve this matter.
This certainly cannot continue. We were here yesterday, and I think the time has come yet again for us to do what must be done. I know we want to operate within the law, but sometimes we got to take the law in our own hands to get things done.
Attorney Glendon Roll filed the trade dispute today on behalf of Thompson. He called Thompson's termination an attack on all trade unions in the Bahamas.
Ms. Thompson's letter of appointment or job description makes no reference, and I repeat, no reference to her as being employed as in-house counsel. BTC Lime's attempt violates the provisions of the Industrial Relations Act in BTC Lime's attempt to intimidate Ms. Thompson and to stop her from participating as a member of the Bahamas Communications and Public Managers Union.
And Thompson today responded to that lengthy BTC statement released yesterday explaining why the company terminated her services. In it, BTC claimed Thompson contributed to a combative work environment, among other things. Thompson said the statement was too personal.
I first and foremost reject it. Secondly, it is an invasion of my privacy. There has been another egregious act and on top of what has already been done.